Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right, so as you can see on the shared screen, okay, so we are done with the topics that we had to cover before the midterm, okay? So going forward, you guys have to basically make a short presentation, okay? So for this semester, I am changing the format of the presentation. Like the for the previous semester, students had to give like in-class presentation. They had to speak in front of their like your classmates, right? So this time that's not possible. So I had to make few changes. However, I think the changes has been done in your favor, I think, okay? I don't know how you would take it. So I would like to actually get some comment or feedback from you guys to see if you guys are okay with it or if you would like to say make some changes with it. Okay, so that would be today's, the objective of today's class. So the midterm will cover 15 points for your final grade. So that's a big percentage out of your 100%. So your final paper would be 50% worth. Okay, and the rest of your basically the rest, the 50% that's left, would come from your midterm presentation, your assignments. So far, you guys have three assignments, class assignments. You also did one Future Learn course, okay? And going forward, you'll have assignments and something to do that will basically give you sufficient points to make up 100, basically 100% or 100 marks, okay? So again, this is worth 15 points for your final grade. So I would like all of you guys to take it seriously, okay? Because there's always like few students who don't take it seriously, and they are towards the end of the semester, they are in a rush. They come to me saying, "Okay, can I do it again, or can I submit now?" Things like that. This time, we have a different format now. We may not be able to even like consider like a request like that. Okay. So again, I don't know how things will be going forward. So far, it looks like we'll have to basically this semester will be pretty much be online, it seems. Okay. That's why we are doing this thing, and I'm making changes so you guys can actually do it online. It's doable, and so on. Okay. So right now we have 10 students. Okay. So again, like try to be, since you guys don't want to take like more than 1 hour class, okay? So try to be punctual in class. So if you are late, let's say it's like, 10 minutes late or 15 minutes late, 20 minutes late, uh, try to be punctual, right? So at least I guess you guys can do that if you guys ask me to take like, shorter classes. It won't be fair if you ask me to take a shorter class and you guys are the ones coming to the class late, right? Doesn't make sense. All right, so before we go forward with today's class, do you guys have anything to say? Any question? Any comment?
No, sir. We would like to see the changes, sir.
What was that?
I mean, are there some other changes?
What do you mean other changes?
I mean, you said that if you're like not happy, I mean, we want something to change about the lectures and all.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. For
do
let's
you
do
have
like
something
this.
in your mind?
No, no, no. The presentation is something that you guys will have to do. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
so that's why I made some changes with the presentation format and so on. But I'm still open to like getting feedback from you, like hearing from you, and make any like necessary changes. That's what I mean. I've already made changes from my part. So if you guys like after you guys like when I'm going through the lecture session on your presentation, right? So if you have any feedback, I'm more than willing to listen to what you have to say. That's what I mean. Okay.
Yes, okay, sir.
All right. Okay. Okay. So midterm. Okay. For this course, effective communication skills course, you will have to do. Students enrolled in this course will have to do a short presentation as part of their effective, basically presentation skill. Okay. They'll have to demonstrate that they have this skill. Okay. So again, like for this task, you guys can get the maximum point of 15 basically points or 15% out of your final grade. Okay, so let's go into more detail with what will be the format and what you shouldn't do and so on. Okay, with regards to your midterm. Okay, so today's the objective of today's online session is basically to inform you, to guide you, basically to help you understand what's the format of your presentation, okay, and give you some guidelines about how you can basically make your presentation more effective. Okay, and consequently, hopefully, by going through this task, by doing your midterm presentation, you can instill some self-confidence in you with regards to public speaking. Okay, so down the line, and not only for this course, for other courses as well, you will have to you may be required to give presentations. Okay, that's something that even like when you graduate, after you graduate, I think like public speaking is one of the skills that would be sought after by your potential employers. Okay, so it's good if you develop it right now, so that by the time you graduate and start working, it's one of your soft skills. Okay, that you can take to your professional life. Okay, and especially this semester, since we're doing everything online. Okay, so this presentation will also be done online. Okay, so in a sense, this has many advantages to you. Okay, so there is the advantage with regards to practicing the public speaking aspect. Okay, so hopefully you will develop some confidence. Okay, that's the thing aside, but you'll also be developing skills that you would need in order to make your online video. Okay, for let's say out of 30 some students we have, if only even if like few students are get like interested in online like video production and so on, so what they can do is, I'm not saying only few, of course, all of you guys can actually do that, take this forward, okay, and get better with it. So the objective of for doing this task is you guys can continue doing it. So by doing this midterm presentation, you will at least have one video of you, okay? So after you guys keep doing it, okay, let's say you right now you are in the second year. Okay, if you don't stop it, if you continue making your videos, okay, what you can do is maybe look at the current events, like current news and what is like happening around you or in an international sphere. Okay, so you can make like a short videos of you commenting on those things. Okay, or some of you guys may be interested in podcasting. Okay, so this will kind of open the door for you, okay, to give you some confidence. Okay, so many of you, I assume, may not have that exposure yet, so this may be the first time you're actually making your own video, okay, about something. Okay, so this will give you that that boost or that confidence to go forward. Okay, so let's say by the time you graduate, after let's say 1 2 years, how many time you have left, how much time you have left in software? Let's say you make sufficient videos to basically upload, like, or you have like enough videos in like in your channel. Let's say you're using YouTube or any other digital platform. Okay, so those videos, your digital works will be your basically digital portfolio. Okay, so if you want to highlight your soft skill, then what you can do is, apart from your resume or CV that you submit to your potential employer, you can also give links of your uh, where your videos are. So your employees, potential employees, can look at it, and basically, by the time, like if you guys keep making these videos, you can also become better. Okay, it's not that you are at a certain stage right now. Okay, so if you keep like developing new contents and improving on your, let's say, presentation skills and so on and so forth. Okay, so after some time, it could be, let's say, 3 months, like after, or it could be 6 months, it could be a year after. About it, like then the quality of your basically video will be a lot better. Okay, you will have evolved into a better presenter. Okay, so that's also the advantage of doing this like online presentation. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's look at like some steps that you can take in order to come up with your presentation material. Okay, so you guys will be individually assigned a topic. The topic will be from whatever we covered so far in this course. So we covered, let's say, effective communication, like those fundamental things that we discussed during the first week. Then we covered about emotional intelligence. Okay? Under emotional intelligence, we covered few subtopics there. We also covered on different personality type tests, right? We covered assertive communication, transactional analysis, NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and different NLP techniques, and right. So these are the broad terms, broad topics that you guys already went through in this course. So each of you guys will be assigned a topic, a subtopic. Okay, so then what you can do is you guys can, if you feel, okay, again, like for when after you guys get your presentation topic, what you guys can do is do some like research on it. Either you can use the class slides that you're given for your research, or what you can do is you can also do some research online as well. Okay, if you want to get like more information about it. Okay, you can watch YouTube videos on it and so on. Okay, then you can write a rough draft. Okay, so then with your rough draft, you'll be practicing it. Okay, so you may be changing the rough draft several times before you come up with a presentable version of your speech. Okay, and that's something that you'll be either recording or giving a live presentation. Okay, so you have two options. Either you basically turn on your camera and give your presentation just like we are talking right now. Okay, right now the camera is off for all of us. Okay, so what you can do is you can turn on your camera, okay, and give your presentation as if you're giving your presentation in front of your class, okay, in front of your classmates. The second option, okay, the second option is you can record your presentation video. Okay, so what you will do is you will practice and so on and so forth. So the second option is kind of like less. I think like for most students, it may be favorable. Okay, because they could record their videos, and if they're not satisfied, okay, it's not done. It's something that they can repeat again and again. Okay, of course, the time is the issue. Time is limitation here. So let's say you're given like a week, okay, to come up with a video. So you can do as many recording as you want within that 1 week. Okay, so again, two options here. Both needs your research. Both needs a lot of practice. Okay, so on the day of your presentation, I don't want like any of you guys like come unprepared. Okay, it's asking me, okay, what's my topic? All right, so don't do that. Okay, so there will be penalty point if you're not ready to give your presentation or to show your recorded video. Okay, out of 15 points, there will be some penalty points. All right. Okay. So you should not be procrastinating or wasting your time, like during this crucial time. This when I give you time to practice, practice for this course. Of course, you'll have other things to do, but I think I'll give you sufficient time for you guys. Okay. So any question about what you should be doing right now? It's a broad like steps here. Okay, we'll be going in more detail in the coming slides. Before we go there, any of you guys have any like a comment, anything with this much information? Okay. All right. So let's go a little more in detail right now. Okay. So what I'll be looking at in your presentation. Okay, I'll be looking at your body language. Okay, so I can't like look at the eye contact as if as you know when you're giving your presentation in front of me like in a class, the eye contact will be very personal, but here the way you engage your eye contact is through your camera lens. So if you look at your camera and not away from your camera, so if you're looking in the sideways, if you're looking down, or if you, let's say you have a like say a projector that's projecting like in front of you or behind your camera. So if you're constantly looking at the like away from the camera, we would not feel that connection, that rapport that we talked about. That will be broken. Okay, so I'll be looking at where's your eye and so on. Okay, what's your like hand gestures if you're moving your hands, or if your hands like or like you have like a hands stationary at one place. Okay, I'll be looking at that. I'll be kind of looking at your voice tone as well. If you have confidence in your voice, or your voice like a squeaky, like you get nervous, okay, you have to watch on that as well. My suggestion is breathe. Okay, oftentimes students just rush when they have to give presentation. They don't breathe properly, and consequently, they get more nervous and so on. So breathing is very important during presentation. Okay, so I ask students not to have long pauses in their presentation. So if your presentation has long pause, like pauses that are 3 seconds or longer pauses, you will get penalty points for those pauses. Okay. However, I ask students to make short pauses in between, at least in between their main points. Okay, so you finish talking about a point, let there be a short pause, like a 1 second pause, before you move on to the next like a point. Okay, so oftentimes when they are kind of like rushing through their presentation, they don't give that pause, and consequently they don't become that much persuasive or convincing to their audience. Okay, so you will be delivering it, but you won't be delivering it effectively. So make sure you breathe and pause in between the topics. I mean, in between the points, main points in your topic. Okay. All right. And also, like, in order to sound confident, you need to look confident as well. Okay. So no stooping or, with your heads down, those postures, try to avoid. Okay. And also have the objective of your presentation to basically to contribute something to your audience. Okay. When your objective is like greater than the presentation itself, it kind of lifts up pressure from you. Okay, so if your objective, if your aim for that presentation is basically to let your audience, to let us know what you have within you, okay, so that kind of makes the pressure a little like a kind of nerving, right? So you want to unnerve that pressure, that presentation nerve. Okay, so in order to alleviate yourself from that, what you can do is you don't need to impress us. Okay, don't let your objective be impressing us. Okay, impressing is the side of the byproduct of your presentation. Okay, let your primary goal for the presentation be to just let us know what you have within you, what's in your mind. Okay, if you do that, then it kind of like creates less pressure for you. Okay, so even if you make like a small mistake, okay, you'll go on, you'll carry on. It won't be a big like a hurdle in your presentation journey. All right, so don't have the objective to impress any of us. Okay, we don't want that. Our impression would be secondary, should be taken secondary. Okay, for you, I mean, of course we'll be looking at how you'll be presenting and all that, but from your subjective end, from your perspective, okay, that let that not be your primary objective. All right, okay. Okay, so the common term for getting nervous and getting the anxiety during presentation is called presentation nerve, and this is a very common thing. Okay, even those presenters who have given their like hundreds of presentations, professional presentations, they still get this nerve, presentation nerve. Okay, so it's okay to get this. Uh, it's okay to have the fear of that nervous feeling when you have to give any presentation in front of people. Okay, it's okay. Don't fight it. All right. Don't think that those people who are like a famous and who give like a very kind of like a very impressive presentation, that they don't get nervous and things like that. Okay, it's not like that totally. The reason why they become effective is through practice. Okay, because they have given so many presentations, so the effect is less on them. Okay, however, they do get nervous. All right, so take it like that. You're not alone to feel that. Okay, and to lessen the effect, to lessen the presentation nerve, there are a few things that you can do to help you with that. Okay, so here are a few things here on the slide here. So practice deep breathing. Okay, so it's like breathe from your stomach, from your diaphragm. All right, so if you start taking like a shallow breath, okay, you get more nervous. All right, so people who are in the state of fear, they normally take a very short and very fast breath. Okay, so like try not to do that consciously now. Like you're telling your mind, you're telling yourself to breathe deeply. Okay, to relax. If you breathe deeply, your body kind of goes to the relaxation state. Okay, from the, of course, there will be there when you're doing your presentation, it is a kind of like a fight or flight mode. Okay, so but still you are trying to manage that, and it's not an easy job. All right, so having said that, if you consciously try to breathe deeply, okay, it can lower that presentation nerve for you. Okay, so everyone, each and every one of you guys, okay, some of you may have done presentation for many times. Some of you may be pretty good at speaking before the class. Okay, if you ask those students, they would say they still get nervous. Okay, it's not that they have some magical wand that they become like so good at it. Okay, if they're good at it, it's because they have already given like many presentations, and they have learned through their like mistakes and so on. Okay, all right, so next point is practice like positive self-visualization. So right now we're talking about your midterm presentation. So your mental attitude and mental outlook for this presentation should be positive. Okay, if you shut yourself from this presentation, if you feel okay, I wish I never had to give any presentation, then it will be something that's not pleasant to you. Okay, so if you come from the positive side, then you can actually actually do this thing and enjoy this thing as well. Okay, the positivity actually makes that difference. Okay, so if negative things comes to your mind, okay, if you feel okay, if I make a mistake, people like my friends will laugh at you and so on. Try to like a like a uh, try to like have like a positive talk with yourself. Okay, so even if your friends laugh at you, it's not a big deal. Okay, they are your friends, they are not your enemies. Okay, they're not there to laugh at you if you make a mistake, because they themselves are going through the same thing. Okay, so collectively you guys need to have a positive outlook about this midterm presentation. Okay, if you make a mistake, no big deal. Okay, you need to basically lift yourself and start working again. You can't just stay there. Okay, and basically create the mental block where any future presentation would give you nightmare. I don't want you guys to do that. Okay, so try to visualize positive. Try to like have like positive self motivation, like self visualization. Okay, so it's something that you can do. I have done it before. So right now you might have, I'm sure. Okay, so for you guys, all of you guys might have like guys have given presentations before, whether it was for the first year we had to give like a presentation for the intercultural communication course, or even before that in your, let's say, high school days, even like secondary school days, primary school, may or may not be primary school days, but maybe you had to like a talk even for, let's say, a few seconds before the class. Okay, so it's not something that is totally new to you guys. Okay, but and if you have this positive attitude towards this presentation, that can make a huge difference in you, in how you would do in this presentation. Okay, so don't basically don't run away from me from this from having to give this presentation. Welcome it. Okay, welcome it with the positive attitude, and you'll find that it is not difficult, not that difficult as you might have thought before. Okay, so once I ask I ask students who like finish giving their presentation how they feel, and they say, okay, I feel relieved. Okay, and some may say like, okay, it was not that bad. Okay, so before you had some impression about the presentation. Okay, then after you have given your presentation, you would feel like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, however, you guys need to give sufficient effort. You guys need to put sufficient effort into it. If you don't prepare, okay, it's natural that you'll be making many mistakes, and those mistakes will kind of add up to your presentation nerves going forward. You'll kind of have this like a positive that's a self demotivation because of those mistakes. Okay, so if you want to do good, you will need to basically put some effort from your part. Don't think, okay, my teacher covered this topic in the class, and I think I got what he said, so I should be able to basically talk about it. Okay, so it will need some effort from your part. You guys will be basically giving your presentation either like in front of a mirror or basically recording your presentation several times before you feel like, okay, I can do it. Okay, this video that I'm recording or this presentation that I'll be giving in front of the class is okay. Okay, however, don't put too much pressure on the marks. The marks, the scoring is there. Okay, so your primary objective is not to get, let's say, 15 out of 15. Don't put it like that. Okay, so I'll give you an example, like students who basically sit for IELTS examination. Okay, they don't, I don't think most of them would aim for like a band 9. Okay, they would need certain like a certain score, right? So if they basically don't create that pressure, okay, they can give their examination more effectively. Okay, same thing here. Don't think about that score. Don't put too much pressure on the score. Okay, try to give like good presentation. Okay, and your score will just be fine. And from my end, okay, since I'll be grading your presentation, I will not be comparing you with those like TED Talks presenters or the YouTube presenters who had have like hundreds, if not thousands, of presentations in their life. I will not be comparing you guys with others. Okay. However, I'll be looking at few things in your presentation, like your body language, like your tone. Okay, like if you're looking at the camera or not. Okay. For example, like there was one student who had like a presentation material at the back. I mean, at the back of him. Of course, it was uh, for us it was in the front, but for him, because he was facing towards us, it was at the back. So he was constantly looking at the back. Okay, so we should not be looking at your back for the most of the time. So if you do that, then your like a score on your body language, your eye contact, hand gestures will be compromised. Okay, so for the maximum amount of time for your presentation, you should be giving your attention to us. We as an audience should not feel left out in your presentation. Okay, we should feel as if you're talking to us personally, as if you and I, you giving your presentation, we are sitting across each other, and you have like basically we have your undivided attention. Right, you should make us feel like that. Right, for that you need to look at the camera. Okay, all right. Okay, so when you are about to give your presentation, okay, your body is filled with this chemical called adrenaline. Okay, that's something that our body produces under this fight or flight mode. Okay, so let's say you want to go, like let's say skydiving. Okay, the mere thought of that would produce this chemical in your body. Okay, so it's a good thing. Okay, that your body produces because it makes your body ready for something that you're about to do. Okay, however, having too much of it can make you more nervous. Okay, so just before your presentation, what you can, I mean, just before, let's say, recording your presentation or delivering your presentation live, what you can do is do some light exercise. So basically use that excess adrenaline in your body. Okay, it could be, let's say, push-ups, or if for girls it could be skipping. Okay, so what that does, what that will do is it will basically lessen the amount of adrenaline that will be in your body. Okay, that's also an effective one of the methods to cope with the presentation nerve. All right. So if you have some extra, if you have learned some other tips for that, you guys can use that as well. Okay, so these are some of the tips for you guys to help you deal with your presentation nerve. Okay. Okay, so I can't like emphasize enough this practice part. Okay, if you don't give enough practice for your presentation, it will be very transparent to me or to your friends. Okay, so students will get like will stop in the middle. It won't be very like a smooth flow. There won't be a smooth flow in your presentation because you're constantly trying to think about something. You think something else. So your presentation will be everywhere. So this is common in the classroom presentation when students had to give presentation in the classroom. So I've had like few students who started their presentation, went on for like 30 seconds, and asked me, can I start my presentation again? Okay, so for you guys, if you're recording a presentation, you don't have to worry about that because that's in your hand, in your control, whether you want to start recording your presentation again. Okay, again, you have two choices, two options. You can present your basically speech on live, like a live, as if I'm talking right now. Okay, of course, with your video on, or you can record your presentation. Do it either way. You can challenge yourself to do that. Okay, or the third option would be kind of like a mix of two. Okay, you have your video ready. Okay, but you basically want to challenge yourself. So what you can do is uh, have the video as like a backup, like just in case you may have some kind of like a network problem or some like electricity problem and so on for that. Okay, so on the day of your presentation, when I call your name, you basically give your presentation live to us. So in terms of scoring, there is no difference whether you present your speech live or recorded. Okay, I'll be grading the same way. All right. However, it's for you. You can present either way. All right. Okay, so practice, practice, practice. Without enough practice, uh, don't expect like a decent score. All right. Having said that, I've mentioned before, I will not be grading you like comparing you with like professional presenters, but still, if your presentation looks not that good, okay, then I can't give you like a good score for that, right? Okay. So let's go over the grading criteria. Okay. So the total points, the maximum point that you can get is 15 points. Okay. So there is points for your task relevance. So if I give you a topic on, let's say, NLP mirroring, okay, and for some reason you have your presentation on NLP chunking, okay, so you will not get points for that. So task relevance, you need to prepare your presentation on the topic give assigned to you, okay. The next thing is task duration. Okay, you have to give your presentation for 3 to 5 minutes. So again, originally it was not like that. Okay, so when we thought about the presentation, we thought about having you guys talk longer than that. Okay, so some of you guys, like you guys may remember, like last semester, for your intercultural communication, you had to give, I think, like around 7 minutes presentation per student. So this is 3 minutes is definitely a lot better than 7 minutes, right? So the minimum length for your presentation should be 3 minutes, okay? And the maximum time that you're given is 5 minutes. So don't exceed 5 minutes or don't be below 3 minutes, okay? So you get 2 points for speaking from 3 to 5 minutes. However, if your presentation is shorter than 3 minutes, okay, there will be penalty points. So up to -2 points. Okay, so basically, if your presentation is basically not 3 minutes, you could lose all 2 points. Okay, so all 2 points. Let's say you speak for 1 minute. then you won't be getting any points for task duration. You will be getting points for other other headings, other criterias, but not for that. So long pauses, again, pauses that are like 3 seconds or longer, you should not be doing that. And for recorded video, I think there's a less chance of having that. Okay, so students who basically get stuck somewhere, they can stop the video and record it again. So there's a less chance of having that. Of course, having said that, I have seen students who still are kind of like inclined to do that. So make sure you don't have longer pauses. Okay, and there's also a penalty point for making basically repeating yourself again. Okay, don't do that. If you say something, even if it's a mistake, go on. Okay, go on to the next thing that you're saying. Okay, so don't go back and repeat, or don't go back and correct yourself. All right, so these are something that you can do. The next points that you get, 3 points total, is for your format, the presentation format. Your presentation has the introduction, body, and conclusion. For the majority of your presentation, you should be in the body of your presentation. You should be talking about your points. In the introduction, you can start your speech in the traditional introducing your points, like introducing your topic and like that. You don't need to introduce yourself, saying like, okay, hello, my name is. You don't have to do that here. Okay, so you can straight go to the introducing your topics and introducing a topic and main points here. Okay, or you can also use like a give like a brief summary, a brief like a synopsis of your what your presentation will be. Okay, that's an anecdote. And also you can ask like a rhetorical question. Okay, something that's we would have the answer already, but you would kind of like ask us this question just to kind of engage us, to capture our attention. Okay, so you can do it either way. That's fine. Your introduction should not be long. Okay, I would think that your introduction should be around 10 to 15 seconds only. Okay, so don't go on and on with your introduction, because then what's the use of your body of your presentation, right? Okay, so for your body of your presentation, you should have several points. So for 3 minutes presentation, 3 to 5 minutes presentation, you would have a topic given. Okay, so try to come up with several points, main points. Okay, so let's say if you feel, okay, for each point I can talk for 30 seconds. Okay, so the way you can increase your basically it's similar to how I taught you guys about writing in your gets for your gets test, right? So you'll come up with points. You'll do brainstorming and come up with points. So in order to basically elaborate those points, you can use reasons, you can use examples, or if you have a personal story, you can include that as well, right? Okay, so do those steps. So let's say for each point you can talk, you feel like I can talk for, let's say an average 30 seconds. So for 3 minutes, okay, how many points you would need? You need around like 6 points, right? Okay, so basically plan your presentation that way. Okay, you don't need to include everything that you can find for that topic. That's not the point here. Just choose the topics that seemed important or that you feel like you can talk about it. Okay, and if you have, always try to include personal information, I mean examples. Okay, that will help you connect with your audience. Okay, and lastly, you'll have to include conclusion. So in the end, towards the end, again, 10-15 seconds should be fine. So in conclusion, give like a summary of the main points, or you don't have to include every, like all the main points, just what are significant, maybe 1 or 2 main points, okay, just to close your speech. Okay, or if you have some kind of question or just to highlight something, you can do that for your conclusion. Okay, so for the majority of the time in your presentation, you should be in the body of your presentation. So you get like 1 point each for following the format. Okay, so what I see normally is students forget to include conclusion. They basically talk about all the points and they end their presentation. If you do that, then you'll miss out on the conclusion point. Okay, so make sure you do that. All right, so next is the strength of material. Okay, so how is your material that you have accumulated, that you've compiled? Okay, is it weak? Is it strong? Do I see some research in it? Okay, have you understood your material that you're presenting? If so, then the maximum point that you can get is 1 point out of 15. Okay? All right. So make it interesting. In other words, make your presentation interesting by doing some research, by including your personal like story if you have, and so on. Okay? If you can find some, let's say, some study done about the topic, just include that if possible. The next is the body language. I'll be looking at two aspects here. Okay? The first aspect is the eye contact. Are you looking at the camera or not? Or are you just looking everywhere else and not looking at the camera? I've seen it, okay? Uh, like student not giving the eye contact to the camera, just looking at whatever is like they may have like a laptop in front of them. So they're constantly looking at the laptop and not to the camera. Okay? All right. That doesn't mean that you have to basically, like stare at the camera, be comfortable. Okay? Help us feel comfortable by basically you looking at the camera. Okay? That will kind of help us connect with you. Okay? The second aspect of body language is the hand gesture. Okay? So don't have the hand still all the time. Try to basically emphasize your points through the use of your hand gestures. So if you're like, let's say you have 3 points that you want to highlight, so you can use your hands, fingers saying 1 point, 2 point, 3 points like that. Okay? So do that. It will help you basically accumulate more points. So don't be still. You should be animated during your presentation. Okay? The next is the speaking skills. I think this is the last criteria, like a bunch of criteria. Okay, so under speaking skills, I'll be looking at clarity in voice. Okay, so make sure we can hear you and we can understand you, whatever you're saying. If we can't understand you, then that would affect your scoring. Okay, so don't speak too fast. Okay, try to enunciate words. Okay, so let your tone be clear when you're presenting. I think most students do just fine with this. When they speak, I can just understand them. Okay, but there are some cases where something is wrong. Okay, either, so I have like a hard time understanding that person. Okay, so if you're recording your video, when you basically watch your own video, make sure you can understand it. If you can't understand it, or if you let your friend watch it, and if he or she can't understand it, then you can re-record your video again. All right. The next, the criterion is the persuasiveness, basically with the right use of short pauses. And there are other things that you can use to make yourself more persuasive. For example, you could use examples, okay, to basically connect with your audience. Okay, so the persuasiveness is also important. You get like maximum 2 points for that, if you can connect with your audience. And last is the the confidence, overall confidence in your presentation. Okay, how relaxed are you? Like how confident you seem and you sound. You get 3 points for that. Okay. All right. So breathe. In other words, like, if you feel like you are starting to get a little nervous, breathe deeply. Okay, and focus on the presentation itself. Okay, so those are the marking scheme for your presentation. Okay, so again, tips for you guys. Okay, do not procrastinate. All right, that means don't put it off. If I give you a week, don't basically prepare towards the end. Okay, that weekend should not be the time that you start making or preparing for your presentation. The more time you give, the more things that you can correct in your presentation, the better you can be, the more confident you can sound, you can look. All right? And always try to be more enthusiastic in your presentation. The enthusiasm that you express in your presentation is what would be reflected onto us. When we are listening to it, if you feel enthusiastic, that will be evident to us. You can also create that enthusiasm in us as well. Okay? And thirdly, speak in your natural tone. You don't need to, rush yourself. All right? So take like a short, like 1 second pauses in between your main points and so on. Always, like if you have personal story included, it will help you connect with your audience. Okay? All right, that's use of examples as well, does that. Okay? And don't stand still. Okay, with you, even with your voice, let it like fluctuate in your presentation. Otherwise, it will be kind of like a hard to connect with your audience. All right. Okay, so these are some tips for you guys. I think I might have other slides for you guys. Hold on just a moment, okay? All right, so before we continue, I have a few more helpful advice to you guys. Any of you guys have any question? Sachin, do you have any question?
No, sir. It's clear.
All right, so let's go in more detail about what you should not do and so on. What should be the format of your presentation? So we kind of broadly talked about the marketing scheme and all that. So let's go in more detail about your presentation. Okay, so this is just a summary of why we're doing this, this online presentation. Okay, so I've already explained to you because of the current lockdown situation. Okay. Uh, so again, you have two options: either give live presentation or recorded presentation. Okay, you can record it in any platform like YouTube, there may be Vimeo and all that. However, students seem to choose YouTube over the others because YouTube has several options that makes this easy. Okay, and people tend to have like YouTube, their like a YouTube account. Okay, so they need not like create any other account just for this course. Okay. So the marking scheme again will be similar to what if you guys were giving a classroom presentation. Okay. However, you have like an added advantage here. You can watch your own video, and only when you're satisfied with your video that then you can basically present your video to us. So you can basically gatekeep, or you're doing the gatekeeping yourself. You're basically filtering uh, your own content. Until you're satisfied, you don't need to show us. Okay, again, most of this is already, we have already gone through 3 to 5 minutes videos. So don't have video less than 3 minutes, okay? That will give you penalty points. And don't have longer than 5 minutes, all right? When you're doing planning, when you're practicing it, if you tend to speak like less than 3 minutes, add something. If you tend to speak more than 5 minutes, remove something, okay? So for your presentation, although it says like full body visibility, I don't need that, okay? As long as I can see your face and your hands, that's all I ask for. Okay, so this was this feedback was is from the first year students. They're also giving presentation right now, although their presentation length is longer than you guys. Okay, so I have decreased the presentation length for 3 to 5 minutes here. So again, as long as I can see your hands moving and your face, you talking over the camera, that's all I ask from you guys. And very important thing, there should not be any cropping and merging in your video. Okay, so you can't, let's say, record your 20-second video and join like 20-second, 30-second videos. You can't do that. It has to be one long piece. Okay, so again, if you want to add like, let's say, brightness, if you want to increase the volume of your audio, that's fine. I'm not talking about that here when I say editing. When I say editing here, no cropping or merging. Okay, if I see that, then there will be penalty points there. Okay, I don't want to make a situation where you guys are constantly like merging. I see like 3 minutes video, and there's like 6 merging there. I don't want to see that. Okay. Okay, so basically when you're recording it, when you look at it, make sure we can see you. Okay, if it's like a dark, room and only I see your silhouette, that's not good. All right. So we need to see your face, your eyes, and your hands. And also when you're wearing your clothes. Okay, I'm gonna come to the dress code after this slide, I think. But make sure the color of the clothes that you're wearing it doesn't match with the background. Otherwise, we will be most of the time we'll be only seeing your head moving. Okay, so make sure there's some contrast to the foreground, your clothes, and the background. If you're like standing before a wall, make sure the color does not match. Do not match. Okay. And also make sure your audio is basically like hearable, all right? So if you're talking and we hear just there's like disturbance there, maybe the noise, or you go too far from your camera, or maybe like the mic on your like a camera or your phone is kind of obstructed. Okay, that also causes audio quality to deteriorate. Okay, so when you're listening to your own audio, make sure you can hear yourself clearly. Okay, so when it comes to the recording quality now, you can record in full HD, but make sure you have like at least half HD quality. Okay, so I assume that all of you guys have cameras that can take at least 720 pixel video. That is my assumption. If you have any problem, let me know, okay? Because I remember like for one student, that student was saying my camera is really old. I can only take like 640 or some video, and I made exception for that student. Okay, for those of you, like for most of you, I think if your camera is, let's say, 6, 7 years old, even 6, 7 years old, it should be able to take uh, at least half HD quality video. Okay, so it's for yourself as well. So when I'm looking at you, uh, I can see you clear. We can see you clearly, right? Okay. If you guys have any question, you can raise your hand. Okay, then I'm gonna come to you. Or if you have any feedback or input, you guys can let me know. Okay, so again, most of these students seem to find YouTube friendly for this midterm presentation work. Okay, so if you are someone who is very wary of your privacy, okay, so what you can do is you can create a separate YouTube channel. So you may have your own, like a family videos may be there in your current YouTube channel. So just for this uh, 201 CS course, if you are concerned about your privacy, just create a second channel. Okay, you can easily do it. So upload your video in that channel, and when you're done with this midterm presentation, you can delete it. You can get rid of the channel altogether. Okay, so that's if you are concerned about your privacy issue, right? The next point here: do not put your video as public. We don't want any random people commenting on your video, saying you look cute and so on. Okay, here it's all professional here. Okay, so when you are uploading your video, make sure you list it as unlisted. When you put your video as unlisted, then people cannot find your video unless they have link. Okay, so it's unlisted. Okay, and also make sure you allow commenting. So sometimes when students put their video as child friendly, children friendly, then the YouTube disables the commenting. So just choose the option that says not for the kids. Okay, because when you're done with your presentation, your friends who are watching will be watching your video, will be giving some comment to your video or to your presentation. Okay, I will be grading your presentation, and I'll also be giving you my feedback, but you'll have so many of your friends giving you feedbacks. Okay, so you have like around 30 students in the class. Just that's like 30 some comments on your video, feedbacks on the video. Okay, so if you get like some constructive feedback, you can work on it and become even better for your next presentation. Okay, that's one of the objectives here. So again, I appreciate like if you have privacy like concerns, and that's why I have kind of like I'm okay with you creating new accounts and all that. That's for you. Okay, I'm totally fine with that. Okay, so you can either like on the day that I ask your name, you should be ready. You can't say, okay, I'm not ready. There will be penalty points if you do that. Okay, so again, you have two options, either like a talk live, or you can, what you can do is you can give us a link. So you'll be sharing your video link on the group, that group chat. Okay, and we will each be watching your video separately on our own, like a phone or computer. And when we're done with watching the video, I will give you like up to 1 minute to basically comment on the video. So ideally, what I want you guys is, while you're watching your friend's video, write something or type something on, if you're watching it on computer, you can type something about the video. So if you find some positive, like some strengths, some good aspect about the presentation, so keep typing or keep writing somewhere, okay? And if you find something that's like a weakness that needs to be improved in the video, write that as well. So when you're done watching the video, then I want you guys to basically comment on the video with your feedback. So that will be something that your friend can work on it and improve in his or her presentation. Okay. However, be honest. Okay. So just don't say, okay, outstanding video. You did very good. These are very generic comments. Of course, I'm not saying like don't do it. However, if you can be more specific in your commenting, that will be very productive for your friend. All right? Okay. So time-wise, you have like each student gets 6 minutes. So out of 6 minutes, the maximum time is 6 minutes. Okay. So for video, for presentation itself, it's from 3 to 5 minutes, and 1 minute up to 1 minute is for giving comment and so on. Okay. All right. So make sure you follow the guidelines. Okay. So no, if you have video that is like shorter than 3 minutes or longer than 5 minutes, there'll be room for me to basically not give you points. Okay, so don't do that. Some do's and don'ts here. Okay, don't read. So you might have like let's say a big like a screen behind you, like behind your camera. If you read like that, then it'll be hard for you to connect with your audience. Okay, we should not feel like you are like reading news in front of the camera. Okay, we should feel as if you're talking to us. So that comes with practice. Okay, so I'm not saying you basically I'm not saying you memorize each and every word. Okay, so basically know your material. If you, let's say you know the points, you have, let's say, 6 7 points, and you know those points, and you can elaborate on those points in your own words. Okay, that is more effective than trying to basically read your presentation from somewhere. Okay, all right. So now comes to dress code. Anything that's a business casual is fine. Okay, that means you don't have to be very formal, and you should not be very informal as well. So for guys, like a shirt, a t-shirt, that's fine. If you want to wear tie and shirt, that's fine as well. Okay, so make sure you are presentable in a sense. Okay, for ladies, like like it's a business casual dress, right? So so have a good idea. Not, I don't expect like very professional, like very formal, like a clothes. Although if you do that, that's fine as well. I'm not saying don't do it, but don't definitely don't do very casual. Okay. So it's just if you are like a if you put the balance in there, then that should be fine. Okay. All right. So I think this is some more guidelines for you guys. Okay. I think I've covered most of these points already. So I shall be giving you guys. I'll be uploading the name list with the topic in a while. Okay, you'll be getting that. Uh, and one important thing. Okay, so you guys will be given you guys will be giving your presentation. Like I'll be calling in the random order, so it won't be like, let's say, like in alphabetical order or something, according to your, let's say, your attendance order list. It won't be like that. I can call any person anytime, okay, during I mean, assigned presentation days, during your class hours. So you guys should be ready. This is to be fair to those students whose name starts with, let's say, A or B, so on, okay? So any of you guys should be ready to give presentation anytime. Basically, I'll have a random list of names and you'll have to give presentation. So I think there's like a few questions here. 1 minute comment to whom? Like comment up to 1 minute. Okay, it's not like 1 minute. Up to 1 minute. Let's say you are giving presentation, so your friends will be commenting on your video, giving feedback. So that's for that. Okay. So if you are a presenter, you don't have to do anything. You will not be commenting on your own video. All right. The next question by Madhav here. Sir, can we upload our video on Microsoft Teams instead of YouTube? Sure. Okay, I'm fine. But having gone through this, I think most students find it easy with the YouTube. Okay, but if you're someone who has never used like YouTube, or who has like stopped using YouTube, and if you can do that same thing here using Microsoft Teams, that's fine as well. However, make sure you do some you basically do it yourself first. Okay, on the day when I ask you to share your video, if the video doesn't play in Microsoft Teams, there's a problem. Okay, so do it either way. I'm not saying just stick with the YouTube. It's just because most students find it easy in YouTube because they have this experience, like hundreds and hundreds of hours of watching videos in YouTube, so they find it more familiar and easy. That's why I'm saying YouTube. But if you want to use some other like platform, that's fine. I'm not like grading. I will not be grading you based on the platform that you use. Okay. All right. So any other question, like any feedback? I think like I've incorporated like like aspects to make your job easier for this presentation. However, if you have any feedback, I am willing to listen to them. So Sachin, Angel, Ria, those who are present right now, I think we have like 17, 18 students. Now it's a time to speak. It's one after another. So you can raise your hand if you have any issue. Okay, I'm totally willing to uh, go over it, consider it. Okay. However, I think I have gone through all this aspect where I have like looked at these things from your point of view as well. How can I make it easier for you guys? Okay, because you are all already going through this difficult time. I don't want to make it more difficult or challenging to you guys. However, having said that, I don't want you guys to feel like so laxed and like not put enough effort as well. If you want like a 15, like a good grade out of this midterm presentation, I want to see some effort on your part as well. So if your presentation is filled with, let's say, long pauses, if your presentation material is everywhere, how can you expect like good grades, right? So you need to practice. All right, so anybody has any question?
No, sir.
All right, thank you very much.